All right, law of sines. Law of sines is actually a little easier than law of cosines. Most students prefer this. I'm going to start out with this little table that's on page 334 in your spring book. And it kind of gives you a general rule. When to use law of cosine, when to use law of sine, based upon the type of triangles that you learn in geometry. Side, angle, side, 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 angle, and angle, angle, side. Hopefully you remember how to label these. If not, not difficult, just go online, find out how to label a side, angle, side. I just basically just read it as we go around. So let's just look at the law of cosines first. Here in the example, they start out with side, angle, side, and that side included angle and side. And the word included angle is really important because later on we're going to use a formula to find area of a triangle, and you can only do it with an included angle. It has to be side, angle, side. So you have to find an included angle. And when you look at the illustration shows that you're going to know this side and you're going to know this side. So you know two sides, and the angle that you know is sandwiched in between them. Actually, the intersection of those two lines that you know make the angle itself. That's what makes it an included angle. You would use law of cosine to find the other side or to find the angle. In this case, I would probably use law of cosine to find the other side. And then after I show you the law of sine, once I have that, then I can use law of sine to find one other angle, and then I would just do 180 minus. So the other one with law of cosine is side, side, side. So when you draw a triangle, what that means is we're going to know this side, we're going to know this side, and we're going to know this side. They all three are going to be different lengths. In this section, in reality, there's times that you could have an isosceles triangle, you can have an equilateral triangle, but you would still know all three sides. Those are special because it's pretty easy to figure out the angles, especially to the equilateral. From here, generally when you're given a triangle with three sides, you're going to have to use law of cosine to find a missing angle. You get to pick the angle you want to find. Best thing is to label it and actually try to find angle C, because the general formula that we have for law of cosine, it has the C at side C is the unknown, and angle C, which is directly across. So that's really the easiest way to find it. And then from there, I generally use law of sine once I have one angle. Law of sine, when you use it, when you draw a triangle, if you have angle, side, angle. And what that looks like is, let me change colors here. You're going to have another triangle. And with the angle, side, angle, you diagram it just the way it's read. You're going to know this angle here. You're going to know this side, and you'll know this angle. So this becomes angle, side, angle. The next one is just angle, angle, side. I really like these because it's really easy to find the third angle, and then all you do is find two sides. There's really not too much math to do with these. But the illustration for this one is you're going to know an angle, another consecutive angle, and you will know the opposite side. All right, so let's look and see what law of sine actually is. Law of sine can be written in two different ways, but it's really just ratios, proportions. You can say that it is going to be that sine of angle A, remember capital letters are angles, divided by side A would equal sine of capital B to the opposite side, letter B, which could also equal sine of capital C to the opposite side, lowercase c. That's one way to write it with the signs on top and the lengths on bottom. The other way is just to take the reciprocal. So you can do side A over sine of angle A, and then side B over sine of angle B, or C over sine of angle C. What I recommend when you're using law of sine, pick one of these two and just use one of these two. As you get better at it, you'll just realize which way your algebra will become easier to solve. But ultimately, the way we're going to do this is we're going to set up proportions, and just like you did in junior high, we're going to cross multiply and finish up the algebra that way. So we don't have to worry about fractions at all. So let's look at an example of law of sine. An example of law of sine is that they're going to give you a triangle. And they're going to want you to complete the triangle. And what that means by completing the triangle is to find all angles and all sides. So we have a triangle here. This is try these A, letter A. They label this as P. They label this as Q. They label this part as R. The sides that we know are 12.8. And this is going to be lowercase p. We know this is 48 degrees. And this one is 105 degrees. So what we want to do right off the bat, before I even do anything else, I'm going to find my third angle. Well, we know the sum of the angles has to equal 180 degrees. So the best way to do this is add up 48 and 105. And that's going to give you 153. And then you're going to do 180 minus 153, which will give you a grand total of 27 degrees. So we know this angle is 27 degrees. Always make sure that this right here, you're going to add up two angles and subtract it from 180. Because if you do law of sine and law of cosine 3 times to find angles, you may get a triangle that's got more than 180 degrees because of rounding, or less than 180 degrees because of rounding. Well, now that we have all our sides, and try these A, it just asks you to find side Q. Now, I know you're thinking, hey, wait a minute. Law of sine only has A, B's, and C's, and this has got P, Q's, and R's. All that really matters is that if you could take angle Q and circle it, those are going to go together. You're going to take your opposite angle and just circle it with your opposite side, and those will go together. And we will go directly across here. So this one is side R, and that's side P. And you're going to set these up. You know the angle. So the letters over here with the generic formula are just that, generic. So here we go. To find side Q, we're going to set up. We need to do sine of 48 degrees divided by Q, because we don't know that. And we're going to use what we do know, the two things that are directly across. We'll do sine of 105 degrees divided by 12.8. At this point, just cross multiply. When we cross multiply, give me a second here. When we cross multiply, we end up getting 12.8 sine of 48 degrees equals sine of 105 degrees times Q. Now we're solving for Q, so from here we need to divide both sides by sine of 105 degrees. So you have 12.8 sine of 48 degrees divided by sine of 105 degrees equals Q. And from here, because you're given these angles in degrees, you want to make sure your calculator is in degree mode or you will get the answer wrong. And you just type it in the calculator. 12.8 times sine of 48 divided by sine of 105. And when you do that, you get a length that Q is approximately 9.85. Now, in this problem, they don't give you units, but if I give you units like inches or feet, you're definitely going to have to put that on your answer or you're going to lose some points. But in this case, there's no units, so it's just a number 9.85.